Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of the Endometriosis Nutritionist TV. My name is Anna Marika Garrettson, call me AMG, and I'm the nutritionist at Eat Well, Live Well. I thought I had started, and I don't think I did. It's a bit strange. Anyway, we're live now, and in today's episode, I thought I'd change what I was going to talk about. For the last 2 weeks, we've been talking about the digestive system and how that affects your endometriosis. But with everything that's going on at the moment with COVID-19, and I'm getting some questions about how does it affect endometriosis? Are you at higher risk of it? Is there a danger of getting COVID-19 when you have endometriosis? So I thought I'd switch topics, and for the next couple of weeks look at the immune system and endometriosis, because unfortunately the immune system plays a big part in your endo, and you have an altered immune system. Now I want to start by saying that you do not have you are not immune depressed so you're not at higher risk of serious problems if you were to get COVID-19. What you might find though is that in general you might feel that you get every cold and flu that comes around, and that is partly to blame. Your immune system is partly to blame, which could make it a bit easy for you to get COVID-19 if you're not careful. So I thought I'd just talk about the immune system and how that works for you, what's different, why you have a slightly different immune system, and how that affects your endometriosis. So first, I have to explain that we've basically got two immune systems, right? We've got our primary immune system, which kicks into gear when foreign pathogens, so like flus and viruses and hit your body, and the immune system then kicks into gear to try and get rid of it. So that part that it's like the first line of defense, and that first line of defense is made up of your skin, your mucus, your saliva, your tears, and hydrochloric acid in your stomach. Then there's a secondary immune system, which is not immediate. So it's the immune system that is involved when you have something like allergies. So let's say you are exposed to certain pollen. The first time you're exposed to those, your immune system doesn't really do anything. But it creates a memory. So certain immune cells create a memory for that pathogen, like pollen, and then the next time you're exposed to it, your immune system goes, oh, I remember this, and it kicks into gear, and then you have like an allergy reaction. So in both cases there are certain specialized immune cells that are involved, and when it comes to those cells, your immune system is slightly different, and so that means that both in your primary and in your secondary immune system there are differences. So there's 4 types of cells that are different in your immune system. The first one is natural killer cells, and they're part of both your primary and your secondary immune system, and they do what they said. They kill viruses, they kill bacteria. Now you have them, so you produce them, but they are not very effective, so they don't work as well as they should. So that means that it takes longer for you to get rid of viruses and bacteria, and so if you get a cold or you get the flu, it might take much longer for you to be able to get rid of that. There's another type of immune cell called pro-inflammatory cytokines, which the pro-inflammatory should trigger something for you there. and so they're involved in the immune response, because inflammation is your immune system's number one way of killing invading bacteria and pathogens and what have you. So those pro-inflammatory cytokines are involved in that, and you have heaps more than women without endometriosis. So you produce more inflammation. Then you also have way more T cells, T regulatory cells. So they are not directly involved in any immune response, not first line, so to speak, but they regulate the response of your immune system. So they sort of suppress certain the action of certain immune cells, right? So you have an excess of those. So you have way too many of these regulatory cells, and especially in your pelvic cavity. But they are not activated as much. So you have heaps of them, but they're just being lazy buggers and not kicking into gear. So, and these cells are meant to modify the strength of your immune response. So if they have heaps of them but they don't work all that well, what that means is that your immune system can go bonkers. And then the fourth type of cells that we know that you have in your immune system, and that women without endometriosis don't have, is autoantibodies and anti-endometrial antibodies. What that means is that although endometriosis is not classified as a autoimmune disease, it actually acts like one. It's like an autoimmune-like disease. It doesn't have all the characteristics that it requires to be classified as such, but your body is sort of responding to its own cells, because endometrial cells are produced in your body by your body, but your body responds to it. So and you have antibodies in your system, and especially antibodies against endometrial cells. So that kicks your secondary immune system into gear every time your body produces endometrial cells. And because you have them everywhere, not just in your uterus but also outside, that part of the immune system that really kicks in. And the overall result is, one, that your immune system is triggered too quickly because of these antibodies, and because your regulatory cells don't work so well, it overreacts. And all of that combined means that your body produces inflammation, and that inflammation then is everywhere. As I talked in the previous episode, you have chronic inflammation. And so all your organs are slightly inflamed or seriously inflamed, depending on how far along you are with your whole endometriosis process. So that means that endometrial tissue has this beautiful environment where it can settle, where it can grow, and that that inflammation continues. It gets worse. We'll talk in a future episode about. We'll go back to the digestive system, and I'll talk about leaky gut. That part of your digestive system creates a lot of the immune response as well, so that then you have this vicious cycle of your digestive system and your immune system sort of almost revving each other up, and making that inflammation worse, which means your endometrial tissue can grow and settle and spread, and that way it gets worse and worse over time. So all this about your immune system is directly affecting your endometriosis, because it is why it can spread and why it can grow when it comes to colds, flus, and the current COVID-19. you might be more susceptible to getting it. So I definitely recommend that you're very careful about all the hygiene and physical distancing measures, etc. But you're not at higher risk of serious reactions to it. No more than I would be, or any other healthy person. Your body might have a harder time fighting it off initially, but in that sense, you're not at any special risk. But it will, were you to get it, you would probably, without being able to pinpoint it to getting COVID-19, but it would mean that overall your immune system is burdened even further, and so it would it would increase your inflammation a little bit, so it would have a slow long-term effect, but you wouldn't be able to pinpoint it to that, and you wouldn't see it as a big spike or anything. I wouldn't expect it to cause any major flare-ups, unless you tend to get flare-ups when you have a cold or a flu, which is something you may not have thought about, and now you can think back. So immune system really important in endometriosis, and you just have to, unfortunately your immune system is slightly different. I do hope that in the future endometriosis is classified as an autoimmune disease, because I think it would all of a sudden get a different type of attention. But for now, as a nutritionist, I look at it as a kind of an autoimmune disease, and that means we can do a lot with food to deal with that, to stop that. So that, I thought that was important for you to really understand how your immune system works, and also to put your mind at rest if you were worried about your risk around COVID-19. What we're going to do next week is we'll look at, so if food can help improve your immune system, what nutrients should we look at, and how can you get more of that in food? And then the week after, we'll talk about one specific nutrient that we all should get more of and don't get enough of. So that's what's going forward. So episode 5 next week will be about what to eat, and then episode 6 2 weeks from now will be about this special nutrient. So hope you're all really well. Look after yourself, try to eat really healthy. I've got, because of what's going on at the moment, I know that for some people I've found it really challenging with all the change in routine, to stick to a healthy eating regime. If you're interested, I've created a 2-week meal plan with the recipes especially for endometriosis. So if you're not sure where to start, what to eat, I'll put the link with this video and with this episode, and then you can purchase that if you think that would help. In the meantime, stay well, look after yourself. I know endometriosis doesn't take a break, so some of you may be really unwell at the moment because of endometriosis. So and for some of you, you're hanging out for your surgery. If that's the case, at least in New South Wales, the elective surgeries back on, I think. So I hope that those of you who are on the wait list will be able to go and get it fixed soon. In the meantime, look after yourself, and if you have any questions, drop me a line, send me a message. Here for you to answer any questions. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.